Hey friends, look what I have behind me. We're really doing it. We're getting so close to starting IVF. I cannot wait. I am so excited, but yet I am so overwhelmed just looking at all of this as well as what we have in our fridge. And I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on other people's journeys, tips and tricks for shots, what their experience is, and I'm just hoping and praying that we have a really positive experience. Clearly, I'm trying to make it fun, as you can tell by my sign. I also have socks and a shirt that I will show you that I'm really excited to wear for our egg retrieval as well as our transfer day. So let's go ahead and get into the rest of the video. I just want to give you guys an update on kind of what we've been doing to prepare my ovaries for IVF. So my doctor prescribed me a medication called Estrace. It's also called estradiol. Basically, it's just estrogen that after you ovulate, you start taking these pills twice a day. And you just take them until you start your next cycle. But anyway, so I've been taking these little tiny blue pills 12 hours apart, 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. and it's been going really well. The only side effect I've noticed is that my breasts feel really tender, and I'm sure all of you guys can relate to this, but one of my boobs is smaller than the other, and I've noticed with this medication that it's evened them out, so like the smaller one has gotten bigger. Kind of weird. But anyway, they're very tender, and I think it's because one day I took my medication an hour late because I was in Texas for my grandmother's funeral, and they're an hour behind us. And so on my phone, my alarm is set for 7 p.m. But when I was in Texas, 7 p.m. there was actually 8 p.m. here, and I totally just forgot about, there's a thing called time zones. And so I took my pill an hour late that day. Luckily, I realized it and then corrected it for the rest of the trip. But anyway, I think that's what's kind of what triggered it, because the tenderness got really bad like that next day, and then a couple of the following days after that. But now that I've been consistent with taking them 12 hours apart, I do feel a lot better. But just keep in mind, if this is something that your doctor wants you to do, or medication that they'll be introducing, just make sure that you take the medication on time, like to the T. Maybe I've been a little bit more tired, maybe slightly more emotional. Like, I'd be a really good actress right now, because I swear that I could cry on a dime. Like, if somebody said, we need you to cry right now, I probably could well up with tears and cry. Like you saw previously, I got all of the medication, so I'm ready to go. Now we're just waiting for my next cycle to start, and then we will start this crazy, long, emotional, but exciting journey. And I have been binge watching IVF YouTube videos, and I am so excited to just see what our journey is like. And I am praying and hoping so hard that we have a really good egg retrieval with lots of good options, and that we have a good number that fertilize and a good number that we're gonna freeze. And I'm praying so hard that our embryo transfers, once we get there, end up being successful, because I just have this deep feeling in my heart that IVF is gonna work. I feel like I've been praying about it so much that God just spoke to me one day and was like, it's gonna work. Just be patient, just trust me, keep praying, keep meditating, keep doing what you're doing, and it's gonna happen. I can't describe it, but I just have this like comfort and this positive feeling that this is it. It's gonna work. It might not be the first transfer, but one of the transfers is gonna work, and it's gonna result in a pregnancy, which will then be our future baby. So just having that like comfort is just really making me happy and positive and really anxious to get this journey started so we can get closer to baby. I also just wanted to mention very briefly that if you are starting an IVF cycle, start talking to insurance and your clinic about medication that you're gonna need, because my experience was an absolute shit show. I can't believe how many hoops we had to jump through just to get our medication figured out, ordered, paid for, and delivered. So if you can, start the process now. And here is kind of what I mean. So the clinic obviously is the one, or my doctor is the one controlling or deciding what medication I'm taking and the dose. Great, love that. Decision that I don't have to make. So then I have to contact the insurance company. Hey, we're starting IVF. What pharmacy do I need to go through to get my medication so that you can help me cover the cost? And then they'll give you an answer like, yep, you can go through this pharmacy, or here's a list, whatever. Then you have to go back to the clinic and say, here's what insurance said. Here's the name of the pharmacies or the pharmacy you have to go through. Then the clinic has to call the pharmacy and place their order, which doesn't sound like that big of a deal, but you know what it's like dealing with insurance sometimes. It takes forever to get an answer. So then my order was placed through the pharmacy that is needed for insurance. Great, wonderful. So I follow up with that pharmacy, cause now that the clinic has done their part, it's my responsibility to make sure I get the right medication and the right quantity. So I call the pharmacy and say, hey, my clinic put in an order for me. Can you check on that and make sure that you received it? And they said, yeah, we received it. And I said, okay, great. Can you tell me what was on that order? There was medication on my order that wasn't provided to me in the inventory checklist that I got for medication. Some of the quantities of medication was wrong, and some of the medication that was on my sheet was missing. So then I was like, that's weird, because my clinic should know what medication I'm supposed to be on for this procedure, right? Like they should know that. Anyway, so then I called my clinic and I was like, hey, I called the pharmacy and they had the wrong quantities on this medication. They had this extra medication on here, not sure why, and this one is missing. Can you just confirm that the sheet I was given of the medication inventory is accurate? And can you help me figure out what happened here and why the pharmacy has the incorrect information? So they say, oh, so sorry, our mistake, we'll correct it. And I was like, okay, I appreciate that you're gonna correct it, but I'm a little frustrated that you messed up the order in the first place. But anyway, whatever. I'm a girl of forgiveness. We'll just move on. It's corrected now, right? Sure. So I give the clinic and the pharmacy about 24 hours to kind of get their poop in a group and figure out my order. So then I call back. Hi, my clinic made a mistake and they sent over a correction of information. Can I just double check on my order? And they said, sure, I see your order here. And what they did is, instead of correcting the order that they previously sent, they just added another order on top of it. So now I have two of the same type of medications with different doses, because they were trying to correct the incorrect dose to the correct dose. The medication that is missing is now appearing, which is great, but the medication that was on there that shouldn't have been on there is still on there. So I've got this mega order here of a bunch of stuff. And so I was the one that had to sit on the phone with the pharmacy and go through my inventory list and say, we need this, we don't need that, we need this but not that, please correct this, blah, 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 do what you need to do. And they were quoting the price to me based on this mega order that I had, which was not correct. So like we couldn't even get a ballpark of what we were gonna owe or how much was gonna go to insurance, and it was a huge nightmare, and I had to keep calling day after day after day to try and make sure that the information I gave the pharmacy, because unfortunately they couldn't just fix the order, they had to like talk to different departments and tell that department like, hey, we need to add this and remove this and this quantity, and they had to get some stuff pre-authorized by insurance, and it was just a huge nightmare. And because my insurance required a pre-authorization for all of the medication, that took another 2 to 3 days, because once they had my inventory list, they had to give it to insurance, and insurance had to look at it and say, yes, we approve of this, we will help pay for this, or they would say, no, we don't. So that was a huge nightmare, wasn't it, Zach?
It was.
And then some of the medication that I needed, this particular pharmacy didn't sell. So then I had to find another pharmacy to order that medication through. So then I was dealing with 2 pharmacies. Luckily, the second pharmacy was on top of their shit. I made my order. They were like, yep, got it. I paid for it, boom, because that medication wasn't covered by insurance, so it was just 100% out of pocket, which made it so much easier. So anyway, coming full circle, I finally get the order corrected. The insurance approves of all of the medication, which made me happy, but then I have a choice. So the pharmacy says, we can either bill insurance $20,000 for your medication, and then you probably won't pay anything, which sounds amazing. Or if you do self-pay, you'll pay about $6,000, but none of that will go through insurance. So that's 100% out-of-pocket cost. So then we're trying to figure out, okay, we go through insurance. First of all, why does it cost $20,000 for medication if we go through insurance? But if I pay for it, it's $6,000. Like, how does that even make sense? But whatever, I'm not an insurance person, so if somebody can explain that in the comments below, please let me know. So then, the obvious choice would be, well, don't pay anything, go through insurance, because that's what insurance is for. And I agree with that. That sounds totally awesome, but here is the kicker. When talking to insurance about all of this procedure, IVF procedure and dealio that we're going through, they told us that we have a $25,000 lifetime maximum benefit for infertility. So we specifically in our plan only have $25,000 of a benefit that the insurance will cover for infertility. Then of course we have our deductible and our out-of-pocket max, which is like the regular insurance type of stuff. So then the problem is, if the pharmacy is going to send and basically make insurance pay $20,000, and we only have $25,000 in our infertility lifetime max, that only leaves us with $5,000 for everything else that we need to do. Like, we still have an egg retrieval to do. We still have the surgical suite and the anesthesia, and we have the cryopreservation, and we have the genetic testing, and we have the fertilization, and the freezing, and the transfer. And I'm sure I repeated some of the same things twice because I can't remember everything that we have to do, but all of that costs money. So we're thinking wait a minute, medication's gonna eat our entire infertility benefit, and we are gonna have to pay everything else out of pocket. That doesn't sound like a good deal. We would rather eat the $6,000 cost, and then the procedures and everything can go through insurance, and then we'll see if there's anything left over. So I don't know, it was a huge mess. We've been praying about it for days. I've been so stressed out. I've been crunching numbers. I've been chatting with insurance. I've been chatting with family members and trying to figure out what the heck makes the most sense. the clinic couldn't give us a straight answer. I tried, trust me, I tried to figure out like, how are you gonna bill this? And is this gonna go to our out-of-pocket max, my deductible, or the lifetime infertility benefit that we have? And they really just couldn't tell me. And insurance couldn't tell me either, because they kept saying, well, it depends on how the clinic bills this, and the clinic can't tell me how they're gonna bill it even though they do it every single day. So whatever. It was a huge mess. It was super stressful, but I'm just excited that we've made a decision. We are proceeding with this entire journey, and I cannot wait. And I am hoping and praying so hard that this works, because this is going to be a huge, huge part of our life right now. Like, this is gonna be something that we never forget. This is hopefully something that we only have to do once, and I never have to do it again or deal with it. And we're putting so much money and thought and so much into it emotionally that, like, I hope that it works, because if it doesn't, I don't even know like how I'm gonna feel. I just think I'll be numb. But anyway, I'm being really positive about it. Like I said before, I have this really great feeling that this is gonna work, and I'm being as positive as I can, and I'm telling myself it's gonna work. This is it, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. So I just encourage you to pray for us, comment on the video to encourage us. Like, this is gonna be a really long journey. Thank you for listening to my rant about insurance. I hope that giving you this information, especially if you're just about to go on this journey, I hope this information helps you and kind of gives you an insight on the work that you're gonna have to do to make this happen for yourself. And if anything, the takeaway from this video is to always advocate for yourself. There is nobody else on this planet that is going to fight for you and what you want as hard as you are going to fight for yourself and for what you want. So please advocate for yourself, speak up, ask questions, don't feel like a bother, just do it until you feel comfortable with the answers that you've received, and then go from there. But anyway, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, because it really supports my channel and it shows me that you care.